Please, please, I beg, please.
I'm sorry, but you know that under no circumstances you are allowed to let into the cockpit.
They don't have guns. They don't have knives. If you work together, you can beat them.
It's okay, you're going to be all right.
European 162, what's the status? European 162, please report your emergency. European 162.
Yeah, I would say that that feeling of claustrophobia that you're describing, of watching a story that's all set in one small cockpit, I think that claustrophobia serves as a great metaphor for what the whole movie is about, because in a lot of ways our world is feeling claustrophobic. We're becoming a smaller and smaller planet. We're all more and more in touch with each other, and people from all different places and backgrounds and cultures are more and more connected, and that's a beautiful thing, I think. But also, obviously, tensions are arising out of that, and people are bringing prejudices to each other. People put each other in boxes. People dehumanize each other. People oversimplify each other. And what you see in this movie, in 7500, is a microcosm for that exact thing, is people all in a very confined space. They can't go anywhere else. Just like we, the human race, we can't go anywhere else other than Earth. We're all here together. And they have to figure out how to coexist despite their differences, despite the prejudices that they're bringing towards each other. And so I think that feeling of claustrophobia is how, in many ways, the whole human race is feeling right now, and why I think this story is such a pertinent one to tell.
You guys seem to know each other.
We have a boy at home.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you ready for boarding, guys?
We were born ready.
Now that you talk about claustrophobia, how did you decide to do the movie in a costume? What were the challenges for you as a filmmaker and for you, Joseph, as an actor, to stay like in that place?
You can start. For me, it's just like I think the most challenges. I didn't have any big challenges. It wasn't the writing part to make it interesting and believable the whole time. I think the challenge was more for the actors, and I was sitting outside in a chair, very much space, and the cameraman and the actors, they had the challenges to pay.
Yeah, I would say that it's not an exaggeration for me to say that this film was probably the most challenging acting I've ever done. And I think it's down to the combination of Patrick's approach, which is hyper-focused on realism and immersion, and the extreme story we're telling, and the brutal emotions that my character is going through, and trying to bring those to life in as realistic a way as possible. I wouldn't exactly use the word fun, like we said, to make this movie, but is really, really rewarding. And look, I guess I said this a second ago, but I think it applies to your question as well. As a movie lover, I love watching fun movies that are just like easy to watch, but I also really love sometimes to watch a movie that'll challenge me, that'll make me think, that might make me uncomfortable even, and that will really make me feel something powerful. And this movie really does that. So if anybody out there who's that kind of movie lover, who's down to sometimes really try to enjoy a film, a work of art, I think this movie really comes through there.
Gentlemen, your captain, I'd like to wish you a nice day and thank you for your trust in us.
So guys,
Fear is a powerful emotion, and it usually comes from things you don't know about, in my experience. Comes from ignorance, and I have my share of ignorances. I think everybody does, and I think this movie is a lot about that fear that we bring to each other when we don't know each other, when we make assumptions about each other, when we subject each other to prejudice. It's usually due to ignorance. We just don't know who the person is, and so we're scared. And usually I find that people that I don't know, who I might be scared because I don't know who they are or how they're going to treat me, or I don't know you all. I'm pretty sure you're all going to treat me okay though, because I've been in enough of these situations. But when you go into new situations, meet new people, it can be scary. And in my experience, trying to ignore that fear and just look at someone as a human usually works out. So I do my best to try not to listen as much to the kind of fear that comes from my own ignorance. It's not always doable, but I guess that's what I try to do.
European 162, what's your emergency?
We have a 7500.
Open the door!
Several men attacked our cockpit. We stopped them for now. The captain is injured. Status of the crew.
As an actor who's spent my whole life kind of pursuing the most honest, the most real moment I can manage, this approach was just fascinating and very challenging, because we were telling an extreme story and the feelings were incredibly intense, but deeply rewarding for me as an artist. And I think for an audience, I think it would be deeply rewarding too. If you're the kind of person that likes to watch an ambitious movie that'll really challenge you and give you some powerful feelings, I think you might really appreciate this film.
I can't open the door. Let her go. Please. Please, I beg. Please.
I'm sorry, but you know that under no circumstances you are allowed to let them to the cockpit.
They don't have guns. They don't have knives. If you work together, you can beat them.